Hey there, everybody. I wanted to just say a couple things uh, that are on my mind right now, and these are things that I shouldn't let them get to me by this point. I should just shrug and say, well, that's the way people are going to be. But for some reason, it still irritates me. So let me just talk about these things for a second. It seems that amongst the what do we call them? What do we call ourselves? Do we call ourselves conspiracy theorists? Because that's what the enemy calls us now, in an effort to take away our credibility somehow, as if belief in conspiracies made you less, I don't know, believable. When conspiracies happen all the time, you don't really have to. It's not really that wild and crazy to think of conspiracies being real. But anyway, what do we call ourselves? Alternative news seekers, non-believers in official stories, questioners of the media party line, whatever we want to call ourselves, that has a better connotation than conspiracy theorist has come to have. It seems that there is always, whenever there's even a speck of good news, it has to be immediately. There have to be people who immediately come out and say, "Oh well, it's not really. You think this is good news, but this is really bad news. Things are just going to get worse now." I talked about this before with my the Georgia Guidestones video. It was like it didn't take but like a maybe an hour or so after the news broke about the Guidestones being destroyed, that it was like, oh well, they must have. It must have been an inside job. They must have done it. The evil world elites must have planned this and must have done it themselves for some nefarious purpose. I heard people say, well, they wanted to make people look like domestic terrorists, and so they're going to find a patsy out there, and make these so-called conspiracy theorists, these anti-globalists, people who deeply oppose what was written on that abomination of a monument. They're going to do everything to sort of make these people look bad. And that's the first thing you leap to. Oh, they must have done it themselves. The world, the NWO are so far ahead of us all. They're so smart. They're so clever. They know so much. They've got us beat. They've already, if we challenge them to a chess match, they're 5 steps ahead of us already. It's already checkmate. Even before we've even begun to engage them, it's checkmate. So you can't. It's like even in something tiny like this, and the Georgia Guidestones being destroyed is a tiny thing. It's not doesn't change anything on a large scale way at all. But symbolically speaking, it does have a significance. But immediately it's like, no, some person could not have just done that himself. I'm telling you, I mean, I've been to the Guidestones a few times. It would not have been hard to sneak up in the dark of night, and I don't think they have lights, all around. I know that there are a lot of cameras and stuff on the monument, but I don't think it's just. I don't think it's totally lit up all night. I don't remember that being the case anyway. So it seems like in the dark of night it wouldn't have been that hard if you had a will. When there's a will, there's a way. it wouldn't have been that difficult for somebody who is not one of the, a patsy for the world elite, or somebody who's just pretending to be, an independent anti-globalist type, but who's really in league with the elite. It wouldn't have been that difficult to pull off. The monument had been vandalized many times before. How did they manage to do that, right? I mean, I'm telling you this as somebody who's been there, and most of the people who just come to these smug conclusions haven't been there, don't know the layout, don't know. They just assume that this must be the case. It must be that the enemy, did it themselves in order to further the domestic terrorist angle, which I know it's an angle they're trying to put out there. They're trying to say if you're an American citizen and you're against what the globalists are doing, then you're a domestic terrorist, especially if you're a straight white male. I'm well aware that propaganda is out there, and it's being pushed heavily. I'm not a fool. I know that that's going on, but it seems to me that just to immediately say they must have done it, so don't feel glad. Don't all those feelings, those good feelings you get from seeing this monument, which had these awful what would we call them, commandments, these awful invocations, furthering the depopulation agenda, furthering the globalist agenda, to see that build, and it was just put up there, right there in our faces, to say, this is what we're up to, dummies, and you can't stop us. I bet you can't even take this monument down. Well, guess what? Guess again. But it's somehow the first, and even before you even know anything, the first suspicion that people have to have is that, this isn't a good thing, this is a bad thing, this is just the world elite orchestrating some false flag in order to blame a domestic terrorist. I mean, if they wanted to do that, think about it. If they'd wanted to do that, wouldn't they have had somebody show up in the middle of the day and shoot a bunch of people, and then in some really conspicuous way commit some terrorist act at the monument? Then they could say, see, this is what these people are like. They have no regard for human life. So we need to suspend all of their rights and just go after them and round them all up because they're a danger to our society. But having somebody go at 4 a.m. when it's dark and basically commit a victimless crime, people, the general public, do they care that this weird monument in rural Georgia was blown up? Does that register to them? Is that does that seem like any kind of atrocity to them? I mean, why not just take the W? Okay, it's not a big W, I grant you. It's a symbolic W more than anything else, but it still means something. And I got so pissed off. When I went to countercurrents.com and I saw the Jim Goad article, and the headline was, monument destroyed, NWO vanquished and in ruins. Just doing this sarcastic take on it, where he's basically, I didn't read the article. I didn't have any need to read the article because I knew it would just be Jim being nasty and sarcastic about how, these stupid conspiracy theorists think they've done something, but the NWO is still powerful as it has ever been, I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone was thinking, yeah, we took down the monument. Now the NWO is helpless. They don't have the power that they used to because somebody destroyed this monument, out in rural Georgia, that with these made up of these boulders that are like or these stones that are 10 feet tall. I mean, nobody was thinking that, but instantly it has to be like, oh yeah, I'm sure that's the end of the NWO. Yeah. I mean, nobody was saying that. Nobody was thinking that. Nobody but a very deluded person would think that taking down the Georgia Guidestones means you've vanquished the evil globalists, elite, who run the world illegitimately. No one would think that. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know why. I've said this before in other contexts, and I don't want to just sound like a grumpy old man here, but I just don't know why. I don't know how does it benefit you? Does it just give you a sense of superiority? Does it? I really do seriously want to know how just embracing this black pill notion that we've already been defeated and there's nothing we can do, and anything that we do, any apparent victory that we ever have, is really the opposite of a victory. And this isn't really so much related to the conspiracy theory stuff, but just to conservatism generally. It's been amazing to see the way that some conservatives have reacted to the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which was something, again, like I said not long ago, this was something I never thought would take place in my lifetime ever. I thought it would be it would remain the law forever, because Republicans didn't really care. Democrats wanted it. Republicans didn't really care about it. It was a useful thing for them to get people to vote for them, and so with this very cynical but probably pretty accurate understanding of the whole political system, I didn't think that would happen, and yet it happened. Roe v. Wade was overturned. If you had told people in years past that in 2022 Roe v. Wade would be overturned, if you told me that, I would scoff. I would have scoffed, or I would have said, I mean, that sounds like wishful thinking. So it was like this pie in the sky idea that it would ever happen. And yet, when it happened, for just like the couple of days after it happened, instead of being jubilant, instead of celebrating a long sought after victory, you had people just minimizing it, like saying, "Oh well, it doesn't really mean anything because people are still going to they're still going to have abortions. They're just going to drive to other states to do it. So it's so don't feel too happy." I mean, that was what overturning Roe v. Wade was only ever going to mean. It was going to mean that the issue of abortion would go back to the states, which it has. Now, if you're against abortion, of course you don't say, well, this means that abortion has been vanquished. This means that America is now a pro-life nation. Of course you don't say that. Nobody in their right mind is saying that. But again, I hear from these people who just take this, see things through the very opposite of rose-tinted glasses, whatever, shit-tinted glasses. They see this happy news, this good news, this amazing news through shit-tinted glasses, and they immediately go to, oh yeah, this doesn't mean anything. yeah, there's still, abortion's still happening. It's probably going to happen more than ever now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to do with these kinds of people. I mean, I don't. I mean, it's like nobody ever said. It was like people before, leading up to Roe v. Wade being overturned. These scoffers, these black-pilled, smug, nihilist. We've already lost, so why even bother? Fighting types. They're acting as though people all had always thought that, or that had always somehow been thought to be the case, that Roe v. Wade would abolish abortion, and everybody knows that that wasn't the case. Everybody knows that Roe v. Wade simply made it mandatory for all states to make abortion legal, which was totally unconstitutional, totally wrong. It was complete judicial overreach to protect this pet project of the elites, which is abortion, a means of eugenicism, a means of depopulation. So, I mean, it was never the whole acting as though it meant something different than it was, and like turning around and mocking the people who were happy about it by saying, yeah, well, it's not really that great of a victory. It doesn't really matter. It's probably, it's just gonna make the Democrats get elected. More Democrats get elected. I mean, I actually heard people complain about that, like you'd rather have this thing not happen, this grand victory not even take place. I mean, that's what you spend political capital for, in order to see to it that something actually takes place, something actually happens. And just like people just always seeing like the negative side of everything. I mean, I'm fed up with it. I'm really done with it. I guess I've been done with it for a while. But I mean, every time something good happens, the Georgia Guidestones being destroyed is a good thing. I'm not even going to be, I'm not going to be mamsy-pamsy about it and say, oh, well, of course I believe in, I'm against the destruction of property. No, because those stones were put up there basically to get in the faces of normal people with living normal lives and wanting for goodness and justice to prevail. Is basically saying, we own you all. This is what we're going to do. So screw you, ha ha ha. And just so to take them down, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened. There's, and you're not gonna. I'm not gonna be talked out of that. I'm not gonna have somebody say, "Oh well, they're just gonna use it against us." No. I mean, there's nothing to. Who cares? Like there's again, it's not like it was a mass murder where a bunch of people were killed. It was a victimless crime. The only thing that was destroyed was this monument, which should never have been there in the first place. All right, so, but even a good thing can't be seen as a good thing with some of y'all. I'm tired of it. I'll just say that. And I wish it weren't the case, but there must be something that people get. There must be something that people derive out of taking this kind of mindset. It's like, I know better than you. I'd be interested to hear from anybody as to what you think the reason is for, what's the appeal of this, taking this black pill approach even to good news. Why do people do that? if you're black-pilled and you want to just say whatever you're going to say, I don't really care to hear from you. But if you have some kind of explanation for why people do it, I'm interested to know. Why do people want to be demoralizing? What's the appeal of demoralizing other people and persuading them that that nothing good can happen. That even when something good has happened, it wasn't really good at all. It doesn't really mean anything. What's the appeal of that? I don't know. I've shared my thoughts, and I'm interested in yours. Thanks for watching.